All right, guys, the time has come, and I think I'm officially done investing in Canada, like altogether. I've got a lot to say, so let's get into it. So if you've been following me here on YouTube and on Instagram, you guys already know that I'm done investing in Canada when it comes to long-term rentals, but I've been flipping this entire time, and I've thought that my flip business in Canada was still super smart, still a great business, and it was, but now I'm starting to rethink all of that as well. So first and foremost, I will say that investing in Canada has completely changed my life. It's made me multi-millions of dollars, allowing me to buy this vacation home in Naples, Florida, and live the lifestyle that I want to live without really having to work. I bought over 150 properties with all of my partners using none of my own money. I've raised over $60 million. You guys already know this if you follow me. That is my biggest skill set, is raising capital, building my brand here on social media. So all in all, Canadian real estate investing has been super good to me, but now it's totally changed. So let's get into some of the reasons why really I'm no longer investing in Canada. And I'll talk about my journey of how I kind of got to this point where now I'm officially totally out. So reason number one, cash flowing properties are impossible, especially when it comes to residential real estate, which is really my main forte. I don't really like messing around with multifamily buildings or commercial real estate or industrial real estate. Those avenues might still be super good for Canada. But when it comes to me, I just want residential, nice single family homes, nice and boring, nice quality tenant. And those properties are pretty much impossible. And when you got 40-year high interest rates, like absolutely nothing cash flows. And to throw it right on top of all of that is the landlord-tenant board. Now, in Ontario, where I'm based, it is the worst landlord-tenant board, I think, probably across all of Canada. And people say, why don't you go to Alberta, Matt? Why don't you go to Alberta? Dude, it's not that much better of a landlord-tenant board. And you're in Alberta. Calgary, Edmonton, like, come on, dude. There's no jobs there, really. There's no good, strong GDP growth. There's not a ton of population growth. All of the economic fundamentals that built my entire business, my entire thesis of how to invest in real estate that I learned from great mentors such as Don Campbell, all of those fundamentals, aren't really there in Alberta. For example, when oil does really good, Alberta does good. When oil does really bad and we're in a recession, Alberta does not so good. Whereas Ontario is pretty even. We don't really feel massive recessions. But on the flip side, the landlord-tenant board in Ontario is a fucking joke. Tenants can stay in your properties for months and months, almost a year or more, totally get away with it scot-free, no consequences, and you're left holding the bag. And when it comes to raising rents and getting tenants out to raise rents, it's like almost impossible. You can get sued and go to jail for the type of shit that you can do here in America, which I'll talk about in a bit. And not to mention super incredibly high taxes, 50%, 60% tax rates easily if you're in the highest tax bracket, which is like, dude, why even bother? So those are like the main reasons why I stopped investing in long-term real estate. No more rental properties, that is for sure. And like I said, now my flipping business, I got about a week and a half left where if we don't buy a property by March 30th, 2024, I'm shutting her down. And I'll talk about more about that at the end, but let's talk about my entire journey of how I became a Canadian real estate investor, how I basically have the option of retirement, and what I'm doing now. So first and foremost, like I said, I bought 150 single-family properties, all with partners, using none of my own money, and how I really got there was by being a single-family specialist. So how it really started is I became a carpenter right after high school, and right after I got my ticket, my apprenticeship was over, I started my own business renovating properties strictly for real estate investors. Because I always knew, even when I started carpentry at 17 years old, I wanted to flip houses, I wanted to invest in real estate, and that is the direction I chose. So as soon as I finished my apprenticeship, I started my own business, and when I started getting these clients from going to conferences and real estate meetups, telling them, hey, I'm a carpenter, and I specialize with real estate investors, I get you, you should hire me as your contractor. And as I got more and more clients and working closely with these guys, they would buy multiple properties, right? Which is the good thing about working with investors. And the more I started working with them, the more I started telling me like, Matt, dude, you know like a lot about real estate investing. You understand cash flow. You understand why I'm doing the renovations I'm doing. You get it. Dude, you should be a realtor because my realtors don't understand shit about renovations. They don't know how to flip houses. They don't understand real estate investing. You should be a realtor. And with me knowing that like I don't want to be a carpenter forever, I should probably become a realtor. I did. I jumped in. I got my real estate license in 4 months when you could do that. And I started working as a realtor specializing with investors. But here's the thing. I was like 23 years old at that point. I had no money. I was basically a broke carpenter. And my boss at the brokerage was like, you need an office here. You got to do cold calling. You got to go to open houses and do all this realtor shit. And I was like, dude, I don't got any money for that stuff. But back in like 2012, actually, this was, MySpace was kind of like on its way out, but social media was on its way in. I could see kind of started the trend of blogging and posting on Twitter at that point. So I just went all in on social media and making videos telling you guys like, hey, this is how to invest in real estate. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm helping my clients. We renovated this property. I just made videos and videos and videos on YouTube for the purpose of getting realtor clients to watch these videos and want to be my client. And it totally worked. I got so many freaking clients. Even the big realtors were like, dude, how are you doing this? How are you getting all these clients? I was like a 23-year-old idiot. I was like, dude, I'm not an idiot. I know how to invest in real estate. But anyway, what ended up happening though is after getting all these realtor clients, which was super cool, these people were like, okay, you're like next level now. I don't want to just be your client. Have you ever thought about like partnering? Can I partner with you? I'll bring the money. You just do all the work because you know what you're doing. And this is all from building a brand and shooting all these videos, which is what I always fucking tell you guys to be doing. And one thing led to the next, and I got 1 partner, 2 partners, 4 partners, 8 partners. Like, this is insane. I did all of this social media for the purpose of growing my realtor business. I'm getting all these partners and now growing my business as well, which was super cool. So once I saw the results of all the online marketing, posting on Instagram, posting on Facebook, I just quadrupled down, made so many more videos and got so many more partners. And that's how I bought 150 properties with none of my own money. So that went on from 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way to about 2018. And I realized that single family properties, which is what I've been buying strictly for all those years, I just narrowed in, specialized, didn't do anything else, just single family only. But about 2018 is when the run up started to really happen and properties weren't really cash flowing anymore. Properties were worth way too much. The rent wouldn't cover the mortgage. Interest rates at that point were a little higher as well, not like 2020 or not as high as now, but they were getting higher around that time. So cash flow was like almost impossible. So I went to the next step of, okay, if single family properties, aren't working anymore, I'm not just going to stop investing in real estate. I'm going to pivot and now do duplex conversions. I'm going to do 2 units in 1 mortgage. That'll cash flow, right? And they totally cash flowed. So I became really a duplex conversion expert in my local city of Kitchener-Waterloo, 1 hour south of Toronto. I became the duplex conversion guy. And again, my construction company at that time would be doing the conversions for my clients who would buy through me as a realtor and for us as partnerships. So I did that for a couple of years, 2018, 2019, 2020. I realized, okay, these aren't cash flowing anymore at all either. The price is running up like crazy. This is like right during COVID when the prices just went nuts. I was like, this isn't working anymore either. So around 2020, 2021 is when I realized, okay, I can't be doing long-term holds in Canada really at all anymore. I don't want to go to Alberta because that place sucks. I don't want to go out east. That's even worse. I really want to stay in Ontario, but nothing's cash flowing, nothing's working. And that's when I started really getting on the USA train, was during the C pandemic. I won't say the word, but that's when I was fed up with Canada. You guys already know my stance on this. I was fucking livid. So livid to the point where right before the borders were officially closed for Canadians, my wife, my 6-month-old baby at that point, we packed the truck, got everything we want, and got the fuck out of Canada for the year of 2021. So that winter, we spent the whole winter in Florida, and I was scouring Florida. We lived a month in Miami, a month in the Florida Keys, and a month on the west side here, looking for a place to buy, to potentially move to permanently, because I was sick of Canada. And I knew that I wanted to invest in the USA because it's the land of opportunity. It's the land of capitalism with nothing cash flowing in Canada. The landlord-tenant board just being a gong show. Taxes are through the roof. I was already kind of getting on the USA train by that point. And after living here for like 4 months during that winter, I was like, this is the place. This is the place, man. This is the place. America's the place to be. There's fucking deals everywhere. It's insane. I'm coming down here. But when the borders opened back up, we decided to go back to Canada for the summers only. We ended up buying this house that I'm living at here, which is an Airbnb for the rest of the year. But for the winters, this is our house, our second home. So going back to Canada, the real estate market is still chugging along. It's doing super good, right? It's pandemic days. You can buy anything, sell something 2 months later, make a ton of money. So flipping real estate at that time was sweet. It was awesome. So I kept my flipping business going, kept it going because I was like, well, I'm done with long-term holds. Cool. But with flipping, I don't got to worry about landlord-tenant boards or whatever. Taxes are low because I'm flipping in a corporation. So I'm only paying 15% tax anyway. It's pretty much kind of America in a sense. Awesome. And I did that for a couple of years, and now here we are, 2024, where the flips aren't really working out anymore either, I'm noticing. We didn't really get that real estate crash, which I knew. I was telling you guys on this channel the whole time, the real estate market's not going to crash because the fundamentals are out of whack. Supply is so friggin' low, and demand is through the roof, and it's only getting worse. Supply is starting to dwindle even more and more and more because of the high interest rates. Nobody wants to move. Sellers aren't selling, but the demand is still there. Millennials are still getting older. People are still turning turning 29, 30, 31 years old, 33 every single year. And that's getting around the time where people want to buy homes for sure. So demand is growing, supply is dwindling. That's why the real estate market hasn't crashed and it won't crash. But sellers are spoiled because we didn't get this massive Armageddon recession, and sellers know that. Everybody knows that in Canada. Everybody who's following the market with a brain and isn't biased and looking for some real estate doomsday crash knows, the real estate market's going to rebound as soon as the fucking rate cuts happen, and we're already seeing it now, and all the sellers know this. So with all the marketing going out, and we're spending and spending and spending so much money on the marketing to get motivated sellers in Canada to call us, nobody really wants to sell at the prices that we need because there's no real financial pressure in Canada like there is in America. As I always say on my channel here, for people to go bankrupt in Canada is like really hard. It's almost impossible because the banks will do anything and everything to not take that house back. They do not want it. It's not like here in America. The banks in Canada don't want to deal with bankruptcy. It's such a headache for them. They don't want to do it. So they'll give you like a year, year and a half. They'll see what they can do. Hey, how about we lengthen your amortization and make your payments so low, like $300 a month? Like you have to be able to afford that. We'll delay, everything. Let's help you figure it out. We'll put you on EI. We'll put you on welfare. Anything we can do to help you through this turbulent time. And after like a year, year and a half, most people figure their shit out. They get a job. They go work at a factory that they never wanted to work at, but now they will. Most people figure their shit out in Canada, which is why the foreclosure rate in Ontario and in Canada is around 1.5%. Like it's a tenth of 1%. It's insane. Whereas the foreclosure rate in America is anywhere between 3 to 5%. We're talking like a fucking 3,000x amount of foreclosures. So with all that being said, that's why people in Canada don't really sell their house at a fire sale discount. All the sellers that we typically buy from are people who want to move from Kitchener, which is a very populated city for Canada, away to the countryside. They go up north. They go out east. They go see family. That's why they're selling. So there's motivation there, but there's not real fire sale motivation to take a dirty, dirty discount because people will just list with a realtor. That's what we hear all the time with a seller when we call them and we kind of give our ballpark range on the phone. They're like, dude, I'll just sell with a realtor. You're at 300. I could easily get 500 with a realtor. And like, we know that. We're like, yeah, obviously I know that. So we're looking for the few dummies, basically, sad to say, who know the house is worth 500, but they just don't want to deal with it. The house is disgusting. They don't want to deal with getting a cleaning company to get rid of all their shit. They just want to walk away, take their purse, take a backpack, and just get out and go out east. Those are a dime a dozen, and even worse than that, a needle in a giant fucking haystack. But when we're spending money on marketing in Canada to find the one needle in the haystack, after a while, it gets annoying and it gets very expensive. Still a doable business. You can certainly flip in Canada and find the needle in the haystack, and it is worth it because the profits you make on an Ontario flip are $100,000, a couple $100,000. So even if you spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to find the one deal to make $125,000, well, you do that 15, 20 times, you got a great business on your hands. But with knowing what I know now about looking at the U.S., we're researching everywhere. We got teams built all across Florida, in Houston, Texas, and in Memphis, Tennessee. We got all the teams built. So I'm just constantly immersing myself, talking to realtors, talking to our teams, and with what I know now, it doesn't make any sense to invest in Canada anymore in my mind. Just for the simple fact of getting financing is incredibly simple as a foreign national, as a Canadian. We don't have to do credit checks. We don't have to put credit card statements or like none of that, dude. None of that. It's all capitalism. If the property cash flows and you're putting 30% down, you get the mortgage, period. No credit check, no credit card statements. I don't care. I don't want to see where the money came from. The banks don't even care about that. They don't even care. You don't have to show them where the money came from. Like in Canada, where you got to show like it came from this account. I sold this property. I sold some stocks. You can see the chains all lining. Dude, in America, they're like, I don't fucking care. You know how much money laundering happens here? We don't care, dude. Okay, it's not like that, but pretty much. It's just like put 30% down. We'll get an appraisal. If the appraisal shows that the property will cash flow, done deal, dude. You get the mortgage. I don't care who you are. I don't care about your credit rating back in Canada, back in fucking India. I don't care, dude. It's just true capitalism. And with the deals everywhere. And the biggest point I'm going to get to here is the motivation, the financial pressure. I will tell you one thing, and I'll talk quietly here because there's neighbors around. The poverty rate in America is insane. I mean, we've seen it so many times now driving from Canada to Florida 3 times now for 3 years, going different routes on the way here. It's insane, dude. You drive through fucking Michigan, you drive through Ohio, West Virginia, like you'll see things you'll never see in Canada. The poverty rate is just way different. The system is different. That's good and bad. That's bad, obviously, for the country. It's bad for the quality of life, of America. Cool. We're capitalists. We're business people. So how do I make money off of the system here? How do I build a business from it? And the reality is, like I said, people are motivated here financially. People are going bankrupt all the time, going to pre-foreclosure. They got liens on their property. And the beautiful thing about America here is that we can target specific types of people. See, in Canada, when we're looking for a flip, we got to flyer an entire neighborhood looking for the one needle in the haystack to respond to us and go, I'm the guy who has to sell. In America, we just contact those people directly because it's an open system. They believe in freedom. They believe in freedom of information. I can see every single homeowner here. I can see who their mortgage is with, what their name is, how much they owe on the mortgage, any liens on their property, how late they are on their payments, if they're 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, 120 days late. I can see all of those things for free. And if you pay for a couple of programs, spend $100 a month on some deeper in-depth program, I can see a lot more information and I can just target people. I can say, I want to target detached houses, 3 beds, 2 baths with a garage in these areas for people that have at least 200 grand of equity in their house, which shows they're going to sell and take a discount, and who are 90 days late or more on their mortgage payments. Show me those people. All the list comes up. And then we just hire a company like what we're doing now, a call center company, to call all these thousands and thousands of people and ask them a couple of questions. Hey, we're the biggest home buyer in your area. If you're looking to sell your house, we're always looking to buy. Are you looking to sell your house? And some people say, yeah, actually, I do have to sell. I'm 90 days late on my payments. Oh, like we didn't know that. And then after that, our sales guys will call them for the people that approved and said, yes, we're looking to sell. We'd be interested in selling. Cool. My sales guys call them right after one-on-one. Hey, and then just start building conversation, building rapport, give them an offer, and we buy the houses. It is so much easier. It is kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. So with everything I know now, my entire journey, you guys have heard it all, what I've gone through from A to Z, what I know now, doesn't make sense to invest in Canada anymore. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't really see a reason to continue investing there. Let me know your thoughts. If you are a Canadian, what's your experience with investing in Canada? Are you thinking about going to the US? By the way, I got a course below on how to invest as a Canadian in the US. Check it out. Everything I've just said goes into way more detail, exactly how the process is A to Z for you as a Canadian to invest in the US. So if you're interested in that, check that out in the description. Hit the comment button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the friggin' buttons. It helps the algorithm, helps my channel. I'll see you in the next video.